Hi everyone, here we are talking about the Magic Wand selection tool today over here on the right hand side of the toolbox. Um, we are going to be looking very quickly at the fact that this is much like other tools used for selections. We have the new selection, add to selection, subtract from, and intersect with options. So we won't be doing a lot of review of that, but what I want to talk about here is that my goal is to be removing all of this area that is sky beyond these hills and mountains in Vermont, and then the extra challenge will be the idea of removing this little section of leaves that we have over here on the right hand side. So as we know already, new selection means anywhere I click we grab one area, and if I try to click somewhere else the first selection goes away. The way it's making a selection right now is based on any pixel I click on, and then in a 3 by 3 pixel array, a very tiny area, but actually expanding out slightly, it's looking at the similarity of those colors. So if I come up here to the upper left hand corner, the tolerance of 70, you'll see it's choosing a pretty decent amount here. One of the things to also know is that within that tolerance, it's getting this light, but it's also going this dark and grabbing some mountains. One of the reasons it's doing that is that it is looking at the entire document because we have this option called contiguous unchecked. So very quickly, let's get rid of the selection. Let's check contiguous. When I click in that same upper left-hand corner, you'll see that now it's spilling downward, looking only at that area and any pixels, kind of like a virus that it can spread and touch. So I want to keep this contiguous option active. Really quickly though, if I change this tolerance to 20, you'll see that it chooses a much smaller region. So a lower tolerance means it'll be a smaller variety of color range. A higher tolerance means it'll be a higher color range. I'm going to change the tolerance to 50 here, go to my Add To selection, and quickly start grabbing some of these other clouds throughout here. So it is a small amount more work because it is looking at continuous areas instead of all the same. So you can see we're in good shape here. However, I will come over here and grab these tiny bits. Odd little spillage here. Command Z, undo. Maybe what I'll do actually is come back here to my rectangular selection tool, choose Add, grab those areas that way, switch back to the Magic Wand tool, press Command 0. We don't see an option for feather here, but let's take a look at what happens when we take this and press Command J. Turning off the background layer, it looks like we have the sky. That's not what I wanted. What I actually wanted was the ground below. So I'm going to go back in my history here, back to where we had that selection. And I'm going to come to the menu bar here and choose Select Inverse. And when I do this, you'll notice that the dotted lines now go to the mountains and grass and the picnic table below. When I press Command J, turn off the background layer, you're going to see that we have a nice variety of things here. I am noticing that right here, looks like we missed a spot. If I come back to the rectangular marquee tool, I can see it. So by going back 2 steps in the history panel, I'll come back, grab this little fella as well, say select inverse. But before I now put this on a new layer, I'm going to say select modify feather. And again, with a nice small number, I'm going to say OK. When I press Command J now, if we zoom in, from your familiarity with the rectangular selection tool, you can see it's a little bit more of a smoky edge. So it'll be a slightly softer transition, being a more natural look versus if we went and did a feather of 0. Select, modify, feather. And if I say 0 here, and copy it. Sorry, inverse. And if we copy this, you'll see that it has a crisp edge. So you want to think about which is the proper final setting you want. This would look much more like the X-Acto blade being cut using a magazine or a photograph. Using the feather is going to give you a smokier edge. So at this point, I think we've covered the basics we need to. Go ahead and open up your own image and start using the feather tool and magic wand settings using tolerance and sample size as appropriate. Thanks for watching.